On this week's episode of Whether or Not, we have nature in the news stories encompassing clouds and the newest Earth Week theme for the 2017 year. Colby has a feature on long-range forecasting, and Drew has the forecast for the upcoming April 1st weekend. Don't go away, Whether or Not starts right now. Welcome to this episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Debicki.
And I'm your forecaster, Drew Narsutis.
Well, Drew, we actually got a break for some of that wet weather during the midweek this week. My umbrella actually got the day off.
And indeed, this past week has been much more seasonable. However, upcoming weekend, I think your umbrella might have to do some overtime.
Oh, I was really enjoying his day off, though. Well, Drew will have more in his upcoming forecast about the weekend, but let's get to nature in the news. This year's theme for Earth Science Week is Earth and Human Activity. This year's event, the 20th annual Earth Science Week celebration, promotes awareness of what geoscience tells us about human interaction with the planet's natural systems and processes. Earth Science Week 2017 learning resources and activities are engaging the community in exploring the relationship between human activity and the geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. This event is encouraging all ages to learn how their actions affect the earth, water, and air and life on the planet.
An ethereal blue light riding the waves along a beach in Tasmania may be enchanting, but it's actually a signal that the bay may be in danger. That's because the eerie glow comes from a bloom of bioluminescent algae that are known to destabilize marine food webs. The blue shimmering light is emitted by a microscopic plankton commonly known as the sea sparkle. The algae aren't toxic to people, though they may cause skin irritation to those who swim in their waters. However, they can be harmful to the greater ecosystem. Sea sparkles thrive in water with low oxygen levels, and when large numbers appear in an ecosystem, they tend to displace other microscopic algae as the lowest link in the food web. This change in the food chain can alter an entire food web, even disturbing the larger fish that people eat. Researchers are keeping an eye on the bloom in case action is necessary to help the shores of Tasmania. Meanwhile, the citizens are using this chance to see a beautiful nighttime phenomenon.
Storm chasers across the United States are mourning the loss of 3 chasers earlier this week. The fatalities were not due to weather phenomena, but were a result of a dual car crash near Spur, Texas. Kelly Williamson, a 57-year-old storm chaser, was driving with Randall Yarnell, age 55, riding in the passenger seat. Storm chaser Corbin Jagger, age 25, drove alone in the colliding vehicle. Authorities did not mention if weather conditions played a role, but one official confirmed that the storm chasers were following a tornado through Dickens County. As Williamson and Yarnell worked as contractors for the Weather Channel, the media outlet released a statement mourning the loss of their colleagues. As fatalities in the field of chasing are rare, it is important to remember the dangers of following storms.
Asperitas and Murs are just 2 of the names you'll see among the several new classifications added to the updated cloud reference released this week by the World Meteorological Organization. This update is the first in 30 years for the World Meteorological Association's International Cloud Atlas. The main new addition to this new cloud species is volatus, or more commonly known by meteorologists as roll clouds. Volatus clouds are relatively rare, low-level, horizontal-shaped clouds associated with thunderstorms or occasionally cold fronts. In addition, 5 new supplementary cloud features have also been added to the atlas, the most foreboding of which are the asperatus clouds, which are Latin for wave-like. Murus and Cauda are the new official names for wall cloud and tail cloud, respectively. Hole punch clouds have been given the supplementary name cavum, while fluctus has been used to describe Kevin Helmholtz wave clouds. One final interesting addition to the cloud atlas is the homogeneous, a cloud type which is formed from local factors. One such example of this would be the contrails created by airplanes. Welcome to your Central Pennsylvania forecast. We have a wet and wild weekend ahead of us, so why don't we jump right into Friday's forecast. We see a low-pressure system off to the west making its way through Ohio and Pennsylvania as the day progresses. Along with that, we have a cold front and a warm front bringing plenty of rain to us here in Central Pennsylvania and the entire Commonwealth as well. Most models are predicting about a bit over an inch of rain is going to be falling here in State College, so that's quite a bit. And then moving on to Saturday, we have this abomination that just occurs, and I'm just kidding. Of course, this isn't going to happen. It's an April Fool's joke right there. On Saturday, what actually is going to be occurring is a low-pressure system will move off to our east. We are going to be seeing patches of rain here in State College throughout Saturday and a little bit more warm here. And then Sunday, high-pressure system comes in, brings even more warmth into the area. It will only be about seasonal, so 55 degrees. However, we will see peaks of sunshine coming in on Sunday. So Friday, 43 degrees outside with the incoming cold front and warm front will be bringing a bit of rain, possibly over an inch of rain. Friday evening, we have 40 degrees outside. The light rain will persist through the evening, and then, however, and this will also continue into Saturday a little bit with some scattered drizzles here and there on Saturday. 51 degrees, so a little bit warmer. And then moving on into Sunday, we have 54 degrees, so the highest temperature of the weekend. We will see breaks in the clouds, thankfully, so a few rays of sunshine could peek down on us as we go through Sunday, and it should be just a wonderful day all in all. Anyway, let's go on to Colby's feature about long-range forecasting.
When you look at a weather forecast, you may typically look at a weekend forecast, a 5 to 7 day forecast, or even a 10-day outlook. But what about long-range weather forecasting? We're going to get a look at where long-range weather forecasting came from, where it is today in terms of its accuracy, and what hopes there are for the future of its development in accuracy. Before the invention of the telegraph in the mid-19th century, it was impossible to utilize short-range forecasts. Without a way to communicate these forecasts to others, many people were more interested in seasonal long-range weather forecasts. By 1818, two competing weather reference books were being published periodically, the Farmer's Almanac and the Old Farmer's Almanac. Both relied on a secret formula for weather prediction utilizing sunspots, moon phases, and other astronomical and atmospheric factors and conditions. People began to use anything from flowers to rodents to predict the weather. Punxsutawney Phil, the legendary groundhog, first began predicting when spring will arrive in 1886. Many of these prediction methods proved accurate only around 40% of the time. Still, even in the modern age, many people want to know what the weather will be for the long term. I had the opportunity to meet up with Dr. John Neese, a professor of meteorology and the associate head of the undergraduate meteorology program here at Penn State, to pick his brain on the topic of long-range forecasting.
If you're talking about specific numbers to describe the weather, high and low temperature, and specific amounts of precipitation, then experience and research and an understanding of the atmosphere has shown that in most places we can't give specific numbers beyond a few days. Certainly not beyond 10 days. You're better off providing a range of values and forecasts that are probabilistic in nature. So the message is specific numbers in weather forecasts beyond a couple days really deserve a little more thought. Now, if we define long range, not specific days, but perhaps groups of days, maybe the 6 to 8 day period, the 10 to 15 day period, even the 20 to 25 day period. There's enough science behind the methodology that we can give useful information in those periods, but it generally only comes in the form of averages or trends. So for example, it looks like there will be a big storm somewhere between the 7th and the 8th day, and then again maybe somewhere out around day 12 or day 13. Those things we are capable of doing right now, identifying trends in many cases. I think with time, improving computer models, improving observations that go into the computer models, we're going to be able to stretch that probably out into the 10 to say 14 day range, and that's going to take a while. These improvements are incremental, and you're still going to be off by several degrees many times. I think the better approach, though, is to think of long-range forecasting as you provide a range of possibilities, whether it be numbers, cloud amounts, and make it clear that your forecast is for a period of days, maybe days 6 through 8, and then days 8 through 10, where you're looking for trends in there as opposed to giving specific numbers.
Dr. Neese conducted a study of AccuWeather's long-range forecasts with one of his Introduction to Weather Analysis classes. It found that, on average, using climatology and long-range forecasts can still be slightly more accurate. However, the study was only conducted for 3 months in 15 cities and only considered the forecasts of high temperatures, so it was a very limited study. This warrants further research into the topic. A recent study called the Next Generation Earth Systems Prediction looks to advance seasonal and subseasonal weather forecasts, acknowledging that there is much room for improvement in long-range forecasting. The study put forward the vision that within the next decade, seasonal forecasts will be used as much as short-term forecasts are used today. The committee suggests using many strategies for research to improve forecasts, such as engaging users in developing seasonal forecasting products, increasing the skill of seasonal forecasting, improving the prediction of extreme and disruptive events, and including more components of the Earth system in seasonal forecast models. It is evident that all three sectors of the weather enterprise, academics, government, and business, are working together to improve the accuracy of long-range forecasts. But it's going to take the continued collaborative effort and sharing of ideas that'll truly accomplish this goal. For Weather or Not, this is Colby McCabe.
Welcome back to your extended forecast. Before we talk about our extended forecast, however, go on to our weekend recap, and we can see that Friday is going to be slightly chilly out there, but plenty of rain will be falling down. Most computer models are expecting a bit over an inch to fall on Friday, and these will continue into Saturday. However, these persistent showers may only be light, if any occur at all, so not much to talk about as far as rain, but the temperature do increase up to 51 degrees. And then on Sunday, we have a very seasonable day with temperatures getting to their weekend high of 54 degrees. Moving on to our extended forecast, we can see the week ahead is very warm, except for the beginning of the week. On Monday, we will have below average temperatures here. However, as the storm comes in Tuesday, it will boost our temperatures up, and we should be getting almost another inch of rain, probably a bit under, more about 0.7 inches of rain. And then Wednesday, Thursday should stay warm. Friday, we will have some rain come in. However, this will most likely be lighter than the other storms we've had this weekend and early next week.
Well, thank you, Drew, for that forecast. Even though that rain is moving through next week, we'll still see those warmer temperatures come in.
Exactly. And you know what they say about April showers bringing May flowers, so hopefully by this time next month we should have a beautiful scenery out here in central Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, we're going to start talking about an April that was not as warm here in the area, in the Northeast, actually. We asked you earlier in the Weather Whiz Quiz, when did the infamous April Fool's Day blizzard strike the northeastern portions of U.S.? Was it A, 1978, B, 1985, C, 1994, or D, 2001? Well, if you guessed any of these answers, you are actually wrong.
April Fools.
The correct answer was actually 1997. Although State College did not receive any measurable snow, the storm hammered parts of the northeastern portions of Pennsylvania, New York, and New England.
True. And Boston Logan Airport received 25.4 inches, and other parts of New England reached over 30 inches of snow. But due to this date of the storm, many people didn't take the warning seriously because they thought, well, it's an April Fool's joke.
Yes, well, at least we didn't trick you in that way. We just got you on the Weather Whiz Quiz.
Exactly.
But that's all we have for this show for this week. I'm your host, Allie Debicki.
And I'm your forecaster, Drew Narsutis.
Have a great weekend.